Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. The efforts so far to tie to Jesus of Nazareth the prophecy which is recorded in the book of Daniel chapter 9, and which I very much encourage you to read for yourself, have been at best only marginally convincing. There are three reasons for that. The first reason is that the approach of those efforts has been to point to some particular day or date in the life of Jesus of Nazareth as proof that that prophecy was fulfilled in him, ignoring the reality that the prophecy itself was given to a degree of accuracy of not a day but a week of years, which is a period of 7 years. What that means is that the prophecy predicts the timing of future events to within 7 years of those events taking place. That is because the smallest unit of time that the prophecy was given in is 7 years. That prophecy, therefore, cannot and was never intended to predict the timing of future events to within a day of those events taking place. And any attempt to use it for that purpose must of necessity fail. The second reason is the failure of those approaches to distinguish between the division of time known as a week and lasting 7 years and an interval of time which has the same duration. The difference between those two can be explained using an example. Every hour is a 60-minute period, but not every 60-minute period is an hour. The difference lies in the fact that a 60-minute period can belong partly to one day and partly to another day, but an hour can only ever belong to one day. That is because an hour is a division of time. Whenever a 60-minute period is referred to as an hour, that is a shorthand way of saying that that interval of time has the same duration as the division of time known as hour. But in reality, those two things are completely different. By the same token, every week of years has a duration of 7 years, but not every duration of 7 years is a week of years. That distinction is important because if by the word week the angel Gabriel was understood to refer to an interval of 7 years, then the count of weeks, the 70 weeks in the prophecy, would begin the second after the decree was issued to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. But if by week the angel was understood to be referring to the division of time known by that name, then the count of the 70 weeks in the prophecy would begin at the start of the first full week following the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. Those are two different start points and they have two different outcomes. There is no basis for believing that the angel intended the word week to be understood as anything other than the division of time which is known by that same name. The third reason is the circularity of argument which those approaches use when they rely on the prophecy to find the date, which they then point to as proof that the prophecy was fulfilled in Jesus of Nazareth. That circularity of argument results from their inability to find, without referring to the prophecy, the date which they wish to point to as evidence that the prophecy was fulfilled in Jesus of Nazareth, as well as the date when the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the promised land, because it was at the time when the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the promised land that they began the count of weeks for the purpose of giving the land its Sabbath rests. And that count presumably would be the same count that the angel Gabriel used when he was communicating with Daniel, because Daniel was aware of that count of weeks. If you have followed the True Bible Calendar series of videos which is on this channel, or if you read the book which is by the same name, and a link to which I have included in the description box below this video, then you will know that the Israelites crossed the Jordan River into the promised land in the first month of the first year in the 51st Jubilee since the time of the creation. That Jubilee, the first day of that Jubilee, was the 26th of July, 1397 BC. Historians are agreed generally that the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem was issued in 458 or 457 BCE by King Artaxerxes Longimanus. That would make the first day of the first full week following the issuing of that decree to be May 2nd, 455 BCE. In the description box below this video, I have attached a link to a resource which can enable you to know the number of days between any two dates simply by inserting those dates into the resource, or to know the date that is any number of days before or after a particular date. You may use that resource to confirm the information that I'm giving on this video. You can also use that resource to confirm that 69 weeks of years, the last day of the 69 weeks of years, when you begin the count of weeks on May 2nd, 455 BCE, was September 5, 27 AD. That means that the first day of the 70th week in the prophecy was September 6th, 27 AD, and the last day of the 70th week was August 27, 34 AD. Remember that a year in the Bible has 364 days. What that means is that anybody, any person claiming to be the Messiah that is referred to in the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9 had to appear not earlier than September 5 or September 6th, 27 AD, and had to be cut off not later than August 27, 34 AD. If you follow the True Bible Calendar series of videos or read the book, you will confirm that Jesus of Nazareth died on Saturday, September 12, 33 AD, and that date is arrived at with no reference to that prophecy whatsoever. Therefore, Jesus of Nazareth died in the first month of the 7th year in the 70th week of that prophecy. Secondly, we know that John the Baptist began his ministry in the 15th year of Tiberius Caesar, and that he is the one that baptized Jesus of Nazareth. The 15th year of the Emperor Tiberius Caesar was 29 AD. Therefore, Jesus was baptized to begin his ministry after 29 AD. And so it is correct to say, if his baptism heralded his appearance as the Messiah, then it is right to say that he appeared within the 70th year. The final point to note is that nearly everyone who has attempted to explain this prophecy believes that the 70th year is not yet taken place. That is clearly not correct. Finally, I think it may reasonably be concluded that no other person better fits, or even fits at all, the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9 like Jesus of Nazareth. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and have a great day.